shows that there's a lot of partners here that are excited about the opportunities to partner with the town. In front of you, we have a little trifold here for you, and the focus of this is just to show you the areas, we call them investments. These are grants to the community. These are grants to the community, working with our partners, many of them that are here today that we'll highlight in a few moments. But it's three areas right there in that center blue that we'd like to share with you. Right, none of these are new to the foundation. The foundation has been serving our communities for the last 30 years. And so those three areas, those bold goals, as we call them, are access to primary care, food is health, and youth mental health. And you'll see that many of those investments that we've made over the last several years have been in those three buckets. And so today we brought a couple partners here just to highlight the work. We want to keep the town council informed of these efforts that are ongoing. There's no action item here. This is an easy one because it's our partners that make these efforts possible. We have the Boys and Girls Club and Grace Counseling. That is an investment of over $125,000 that we've made as an organization. These are two amazing partners that you all know. The Boys and Girls Club is a foundational rock partner in the town of Eatonville, and we have some representatives here today with us. They're getting ready for summer camp. As we've heard, we're going to have some big numbers for summer camp this year. But that partnership is with Grace Counseling, who we also have here. And that's working with our kiddos at the Boys and Girls Club to provide weekly mental health counseling opportunities in a group therapy session. And then also offering individual opportunities for kiddos through scholarships that may need a little more one-on-one time. We have another one of our amazing partners in Grace Medical, not to be confused with Grace Counseling. We'll let them hash that out on names. But Dr. Carter is here today with us. They were actually, today was one of the visits that the Grace Medical Home mobile unit was here in the town. And there's so many partners, whether it's Macedonia, big grateful shout out to Pastor Barnes for allowing us to use the facilities for Ebony Nutrition to be a part of that relationship. That is another significant investment of over $125,000 that will be a quarterly basis that the mobile medical unit visits, along with a health fair that is tomorrow, May 6th. We also have Principal Harris, who was one of the first partners when I had the opportunity to take over this position just a little less than 2 years ago. Principal Harris brought me close and has really guided us about how we can be a partner with Hungerford Elementary. And so we're excited to announce that we have an investment. We'll be making a public release of a job description for a nurse practitioner for a school-based health clinic next year at Hungerford Elementary. And that is due to Principal Harris and her continued commitment to serve our students. On top of that, these are continuing evolving investments in the town. Last year, through our Well Together grant awards, we awarded $50,000 to Center for Change, right? And that was on healthcare screenings along with Grace Medical as we started the evolution of this program. And so we come here tonight to say thank you for partnering with us. We look forward to future opportunities. There's some exciting things in the pipeline that may be not ready, but just different partners. How do we expand some of these efforts? How do we make sure that we're continuing to offer these opportunities and access to all residents? And so if you have any questions, I had a few slides, but I apologize. I didn't get them over in time. I'm sorry about that. But we'll get you those slides afterwards with our contact information, some of the other things that we're working on. But that's what we've been focused on, and it begins and ends with partnerships, Mayor. And so we're just grateful to work with you and the town council on anything that you see in the future.
Do you have a business card?
I will get you one.
I will sneak one in and say my mother was an avid fan of Healthy Eatonville. So we know that Winter Park Health Foundation has been an advocate for the town of Eatonville for quite some time. And I personally am excited to be here to work alongside with y'all for the next 4 years.
Well, and I shared this with you yesterday, Mayor, but as long as I'm in this role, you have a partner. As much as we can with everybody in this room that stands behind you in the town council. So thank you.
And thank you to the partners and our very own Dr. Harris.
And so we were joking around because my favorite day is the kickoff to the school year. And so I already have it in my calendar, set on my phone. My team knows that's non-negotiable. I will be high-fiving Little Hawk. They walk in, it'll be nothing better. It's my favorite day of the year. So thank you.
I would also like to just thank you guys for coming out. Thank you for the leadership that you're gonna bring to the historic town of Eatonville. Just being that beacon light to making sure that this town is going in the direction of staying healthy for one, and just for everybody that you're involved with in terms of the resources that you bring to this community. It means so much to me being growing up in this community and not being a leader. So salute to you and your organization, your company, and everybody that you're associated with.
Well, thank you, Councilman. And there's more to come.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you mind if we take a picture with you? Is that all right? Can we come up? Do you mind if our partners come up with us for one picture? It'd be a group photo.
Should've known there was no one to take a picture.
I know. There's the east and back of the photo.
But,
Alright, look at her first. Are you ready to say cheese? Okay, 1, 2, 3.
Thank you.
Oh, sorry. That's so good to see you. Listen, that's me every time. Regardless of what's in the
why this thing is not?
Absolutely. And we're about to get down and dirty, so.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
All right, we are ready for public hearing. Number 1.
Yes, we have Miss Joyce Irby and Miss Angela Johnson will be deferring her time, which, Miss Irby, you have 5 minutes.
Citizen participation, I apologize.
Hey everybody, council, I wanted to tell you guys something that I learned about power back in the 50s. When I first went to LA, I always heard, somebody do that. I always heard people say, like, artists, they were like always broke, they're like, we never make any money. We're selling these records, but we never make any money, and I didn't understand that. So when I got to LA, I started going, this was Universal Music Group that was divided into a bunch of companies. But I started going to business affairs and just hanging out with the guys in business affairs because I'm like, why is everybody broke? So I had to learn like the sick accounting of the record business, but the guys that were the young attorneys, they didn't mind teaching me. They just thought it was funny that I wanted to know about all this stuff. That's who I've always been, trying to learn from people who knew things. So as years went on, I understood that if you were an artist and you signed a deal, let's say back in the time when records were like $15 for like a whole album, you would get like 50 cents. And if you had a debt that was $500,000, every time they made $15, they'd take 50 cents and put it towards your bill. So they would make $30 million before they owed you $1. And that's how people stayed broke. So as I got older and started signing younger artists, I signed a 12-year-old kid named Lloyd, who I signed with Warner Records. Then the president got fired, and then Magic Johnson had a company. We were cool, so I signed the Magic's label, which was at Universal, and Magic was like, I'm out, I'm going back to broadcasting. So I made a deal with this guy named Irv Guy. He had a company called Murder League with his kid Lloyd. And we had already recorded his first single, but we did it at Magic's record label, and we owed almost $500,000 to Universal because of it. And I wanted to take 3 of the songs we did, which included a song called Southside, which was his first hit, and parlay it over to Earth's label, but not carry $500,000 in debt, because he would not make any money. So I called one of the guys that I used to know in business affairs. His name was Norman Epstein. And when I called, they were like, who are you? I'm like, I'm Joyce. I need to talk to Norman. They were like, okay, lady, we'll have him call you back. I didn't know at that time that Norman was the #2 man at Universal Music Group, which includes NBC TV, Universal Studios, Universal Pictures, Universal everything. He had gone from a cool guy doing business affairs to the #2 man. So he called me back and I was like, Norman, I hadn't talked to him in like 15 years. He's like, Joyce, how can I help you? I said, I got this kid. He has a $460,000 debt. And I just did a deal with Irv, and Irv can't get the debt released. Now, Irv is a millionaire, but he did not have power. Norman said, how much do you owe us? I said, 460, and I need to take 3 of these records with us. He said, okay, how about $60,000 and you can take the records? I was like, what? He said, you're gonna wipe away $400,000 worth of debt? He said, sure, it's no problem. I said, Norman, you have no idea what you're doing for him. He said, Joyce, I'm not doing it for him, I'm doing it for you. Based on a relationship from many, many years ago. But that's power. And Cliff Shepherd is Norman Epstein. And this is part of me working through my grief about losing Cliff, who is a superstar among lawyers. I'm not advocating for him coming back. He shouldn't, we don't deserve it, and we have disrespected him horribly. But he's a great attorney. He's a man who cared about Eatonville and the people that he knew that was trying to make something happen. And I did not know that he was going to be listening, or may not be listening, but I wanted to just express my feelings about him. I wanted to thank him publicly, no matter what. He was like #1. And part of my fear is that we are excluding people because of things we don't like about them. And not knowing or having a relationship with somebody who can get into the rooms that we can't get into is tragic for all of us. And I just appreciate it, and I just want to say that. That's it. Thank you.
Yes, we have Ryan Novick. You can come to the podium.
All good.
Yes.
Good evening, Mayor, council members, members of the community. Want to address, I guess, a different power dynamic today. Members of the public here get 3 minutes unless they get a time yield, and then they get 5, and we're held to that strictly. In 3 minutes, we have to be accurate, concise. We're talking about any charters, statutes, we have to cite them clearly and accurately to what we're referencing to. And if and finish on the clock at the same time. If we run over, we get cut off, and appropriately so. That discipline format is fine, and I accept that. What I want to note though is the asymmetry on the other side of this rail. Council members have unlimited time. And too often that time is used to restate the same point 5 different ways. To labor over what was already understood the first time around. To extend meetings well past where the substance already ended. The public's time is not unlimited. We come here from jobs, families, things we have to do, and we'd like to get back to them, but we come here not because we have to be here, but because we're involved and we choose to be here. But we shouldn't have to wait an hour for an item that we want to address to come up finally, because we're laboring on about some point that has already been made. I'm not saying that if 3 minutes is enough for us, that it ought to be the same for you. But the standard should be succinct, something that ought to be the bare minimum of directness, respecting the public's time. The second piece is what happens after the public comment ends. So we sit down, the floor returns to the body, and then the public comments that can be responded to, characterized, mischaracterized, reframed, and the commenter has no procedural recourse, rebuttal, or mechanism to clarify the record during the same meeting. Now, I'm not asking for anything to be changed when public comment is responded to, but what I am asking is that the response fairly represent what's being said by the public. Quote the specific words that any of us use. Mischaracterize it. Don't summarize it, and be sure that you are accurate, because 3 minutes is enough time for us to be accurate. It should be enough to be heard accurately in return. Thank you.
That was our last one.
All right. We are now ready for our public hearing.
Kara?
Good evening, Tara Salmieri, Town Planner. Are you reading the title or no? Or only in second?
Would you like for me to do the preamble now? Okay. Ordinance 2026-3, an ordinance of the town of Eatonville, Florida, dissolving the Board of Adjustment established by Chapter 44, Article 3, Division 3 of the Land Development Code, and transferring powers of the Board of Adjustments to the Planning Board by amending Chapter 44, Article 3, Division 2, removing references to Board of Adjustments in the Land Development Code and replacing with the Planning Board, providing for conflicts, providing for codification, providing for severability, and providing an effective date.
This particular ordinance 2026-3, that dissolving the Board of Adjustment, and was put together by Shepherd Law, and it was presented at the Planning Board meeting. I'll kind of give you a summary, and then if you want a legal opinion, Mr. Shepherd is also on the line. The only intent behind dissolving a Board of Zoning Adjustment was, I've been with the town a little over 4 years, and we've never had a complete board. In the 4 years that I've also been here, we've never had a completed application for a variance. That's usually what the Board of Zoning Adjustment does. I have had incomplete variances submitted. If those applications were completed, we do not have a board to hear those. A lot of jurisdictions that I work in, and I'm sure that Mr. Shepherd can also talk about it, a lot of municipalities have dissolved and have one board. And we even have a challenge sometimes getting a quorum for the planning board. So that's the only reason we have put this together for your consideration, is to merge the planning board and the Board of Adjustment. Planning board does work in the land development code, so they're very well versed on that, but it's really whether or not you all are in favor of that. We just put the ordinance in front of you to see if that was something that you would want to consider, so that when we do have an applicant, that we can be efficient and responsive. Available for any questions.
What happened to the board members for that group that we're dissolving? Are you gonna combine them with the planning zone and make that a larger group, or?
The number would stay, but I don't actually know. I could ask Ms. King. I don't actually know if we have any official board members that are active.
We have 2 active members,
Are they turned out?
not yet, but on the way. One of them is on the way. But even though they're active, they can't do the business of the town because they don't have a quorum. You have to have 3
And those duties can be transferred to the planning and zoning board who already deals with zoning issues.
Yes,
And it's just the variances, because I remember being on that board and we met once in the 2 years that I was on that board, and there
Yes.
was an incomplete application. And then since then, and like you said, in the last 4 years, I don't know that they've even had a full board,
no,
let alone the request for a variance. Have there been any variances that have been? I know you said there was some incomplete ones in the
No.
last 2 years. Have there been any?
Nothing that was complete, but we're always, we've got to be prepared because the code requires us to hear it in a timely manner, and if we don't have a board. And the ordinance that's before you doesn't change any of those duties. So everything, the Board of Zoning Adjustment, now the names just got switched in the ordinance, so it would be the Planning and Zoning Board. I don't know how many people we have for Planning and Zoning Board now too, because we have two that
It's
left.
full, it's a full.
It's full. Not with 100% alternates, right?
It's
Because,
full with
It's
one
with
alternate.
one alternate.
yeah.
Mhm.
So we're finally in a good position, but we've also had to cancel planning and zoning boards prior to having that because of lack of a quorum. So that's the only desire, is to ensure that we can serve the community and be responsive during applications, but that's the only reason.
So what does a complete board look like? What's the number for it? Is it 3? I guess it's five.
For Board of Zoning
For the.
or for Planning Board?
For the Board of Adjustments, what we're talking about.
It's supposed to be 5.
It's supposed to be 5, but a quorum is 3.
And the quorum is 3.
And that would mean if they heard it and one didn't come or one had it against, nothing would be passed. They would have to always vote together if you had 3.
So are we saying we're struggling to get people in the community to be on the board, or is it that? Are we saying that we just don't deem it necessary to continue with that board?
I think it's a combination of both. Yeah, I mean, even if you said, let's fill the board today, do we have the business? Is it cost effective or efficient for the town to maintain that when there is another board that does the same work? Is what
They do similar, they don't, the Planning and Zoning Board does quasi judicial and legislative actions. And Board of Zoning is usually just quasi judicial. I think in the 4 years I've been here, I think with a struggle and credit to Ms. King, she's tried very hard to entice, and we've made announcements, but even if you did have a full board, they're not going to meet regularly. So then you're faced with, anytime you have an application, you're trying to make sure that that board is going to come. Similar to the Planning and Zoning Board, like, we don't always have items, so sometimes we'll meet just to keep everybody engaged and involved. And from a town perspective, that costs money too, to have staff there and attorneys there if there's no items. So we're just trying to do something efficient, but again, if you want to have separate boards, you still can. Just know that we might have to have emergency meetings once we get applications, if we can't keep 5 people interested when they might not meet.
Yeah, and Mayor and Council, from administration standpoint, we think it's a great idea to combine them because of those lack of. Because if you go 6 months, 9 months, and you haven't met, and then you try to call those people in, they're like, you haven't used them this time. And as Tara said, we're on time crunches. So the clock is running. When the application comes in, the clock is running. And we can't get those people, and I should say we have to have 3 people in affirmative. So if only 3 people show up, all 3 gotta vote in the affirmative. If they don't vote in the affirmative, what happened?
And I think just the other aspect is when it's a quasi judicial, so variance is usually, you have a setback that's 25 feet and they can't meet it. There's actual criteria that you have to meet per state requirements. So just the level of re-educating every time you meet too, just can be a little bit of a challenge, because it is a board that requires competent, substantial evidence to determine things. So that's, But, you
The
know.
only reason why I ask is because I know that, at the beginning of us forming this new council, there were residents that, were interested in joining boards. So I don't know if, because what I don't wanna do is, if we have residents here that are interested in joining the board, take that opportunity away from them. But I don't know if, Mrs. King, if we have anybody that stated that they were interested in joining that particular board, because it seemed like we had an overflow of residents at one point in time, I thought I heard.
Well, I will speak from the time I've been here, the Board of Adjustment has been inactive. It was a inefficient board prior to me coming. And just here recently, we received applications. And as you see in item number 5, there are applications before you. If you consider keeping the Board of Adjustments, these are applications that you can consider as members of that board. If you decide that you want to go with the ordinance and dissolve it and transfer powers over to the planning and zoning, then you would need to table that item.
And also, go ahead, Councilwoman. I was gonna say, Councilwoman, also what we can look at, like those people that's come in and put those applications in, there is only one alternate on the plan that's on it now. So we could increase more alternates there, as well as put some of those other people who maybe are interested in boards now in other boards to make sure that we have enough alternatives. So in the county, the way the county does it, they have the primaries and then they have alternates. So at any given time, business still is conducted. If someone don't show up, that alternate, whoever alternate 1, alternate 2, alternate 3, sometimes I've been on board, they had 10 alternates. Everybody hears everything, but when it comes down to the vote, only those active people that's there, but if an alternate's there and those active people not there, it keeps the business going, so they're never in a delay. They're always keeping the business of that board going.
Well, I'm sorry.
And in addition to there being a alternate position available on the planning and zoning, there is one available on the historical preservation.
Okay, so but my point is, what I do not want to do, because we struggle to get the residents to participate on any level, is to deter them from. Would you understand me? Because we want to encourage more of the community and more of the residents to get involved in the town business. So that's the only, especially if we have them sitting in a pool. I think that we should allow them, but I'm glad to hear that we have alternative boards that they can, versus just saying, well, no, thank you, but no thanks. I don't think that that's fair to the residents. And we need more, not less.
And I will tell you, in my observations over the years, when there is a board that does not meet, the board members do lose interest. And when there is time to meet, it's hard to build that morale back up. And the Board of Adjustments just does not have that much activity coming to the town. But it's all at the discretion of the board.
But as long as we can reach out to those residents that have expressed interest and desire to becoming a part of a board. If we are able to allow them a place to participate, that's my concern. We dissolve the board because it's just not serving, because it's not feasible. I can understand that, but I want more residents, and we need more residents to participate in the town business. Now, that's my point. That's my thing.
And also just bring it to your attention, this is not the first time that Tara and the attorney has brought this before the board. It did come before the council maybe 1.5 years ago.
Yeah.
Because we were having problems identifying residents to serve on the board. And at that time, the council did not want to dissolve. But we are still in the same situation. Until here recently, we do have applications. But
I get it, and I'm just speaking up, and don't speak for myself, I'm not on a lot of doors. trying to get up here. And I spoke to a lot of residents, you know, that expressed interest in becoming more involved. You know, but if it's not feasible, I'm just putting it out there. And we appreciate that can hear us, please, you know, don't be discouraged, please come out and continue on, get back if we need more of you all to participate versus less. But if it's not amenable,
Do we want to open the floor for public comment?
Yeah, we have to because it is a
Yes,
public,
this time I wanted to-
yeah.
Okay, we are now ready for public comment. Is there any that would like to speak on this item?
Good evening, Mayor, council members, members of the public. After hearing what was being said, and Ms. King, I think, raised an excellent point of this coming before you a year and a half ago in the same situation being present today. And it sounds like not much is going to happen as far as action items. So even with the full board, there isn't going to be much meeting. And it sounds like rolling it into P and Z where there's a consistent cadence of meetings and those responsibilities can be easily folded in. It sounds like a pretty logical option for me at least. Because if a year and a half later, we're still having trouble filling these boards, then those that wanted to be active could have been active and chose not to be active. And even in the months of knocking on doors, as council member had indicated, here we are a few months later, still not really active in that sense. So if those responsibilities can be rolled into P and Z, I would be in favor of that. Thank you.
Do we have any other public comment on this item? Looks like you do not. You ready for that?
So, public comments is closed
Public
officially?
is closed.
Okay.
And we have heard the preamble. We have a motion.
second,
It has been moved and properly second, all in favor of approving ordinance 2026-3, signify with aye. Aye.
First reading.
I'm sorry,
Mhm.
with the first reading of ordinance 2026-3, signify with aye. Aye. All opposed? First reading passes. We are ready for public hearing for ordinance 2026-2.
Are you ready for me to read the preamble?
And we are, the order is doing me off this now. We are.
Okay.
It was, I just realized.
We did
went
three
first.
readings.
Yes. Ordinance number 2025-2, an ordinance of the town of Eatonville, Florida relating to the Land Development Code, amending chapter 60 to add article, what's that number room on? 66. Establishing a process for the review of reasonable accommodation requests for certified recovery residences pursuant to the Florida statute section 397-487, providing for conflicts, providing for codification, providing for severability, and providing for an effective date.
Right. This particular ordinance was also put together and presented by Shepherd Law. Ryan was at the Planning and Zoning Board. I will give you an overview if you have any specific questions. Mr. Shepherd is on the line to address this with you. Last in 2025, a session, it came forward on revising Florida State Statutes 397-487, which establishes a process that all local governments need to review and provide reasonable accommodation requests for certified recovery residences. And that's determined that there's a requirement to amend the Land Development Code, because right now the town and most jurisdictions did not have these policies in place, but they were supposed to be adopted by January of 2026. We are now in, what month are we in? We're in May. We're in May. And this is just another, we did bring this forward, tried to a planning board. We didn't have a quorum, so we had to bring it back. So that was a little bit of the delay of it being heard in March. And then we weren't able to when we didn't have an attorney. So we're bringing it back again. Essentially what it is it sets purpose and applicability. It requires the town to have reasonable accommodations, so if anybody has recovery residence, we have a pathway to approval. And then the criteria that was added to that section came from the statute, so it's not any statements or policies that we're developing. It's just being consistent with the statutory requirements. And if you do have any questions, I'll probably defer it to Mr. Shepherd.
Do you have any council comments or questions? We can now open up the floor for public comment. Do we have any public comment participants on this item? We can now close the public hearing or public comment section. Are we ready?
Madam Mayor, can I read the preamble over just to make sure I read it correctly for the record? Okay. Yes, yeah, 20. Yeah, ordinance number 2025-2, ordinance of the town of Eatonville, Florida, relating to the Land Development Code, amending chapter 60 to add article 20. Establishing a process for the review of reasonable accommodations requests for certified recovery residences pursuant to Florida statute section 397-487, providing for conflicts, providing for codification, providing for severability, and providing for an effective date. 2026-2.
We've heard the preamble. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved in second. All in favor of the approval of the first reading of ordinance 2026-2, signify with aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? First reading passes. All right. We are now ready for the approval of the consent agenda. Do I have a motion?
Madam Mayor, we need to identify the minutes that has been provided in the packet.
There are a set of minutes for you, from council meetings, March 17th, March 24th, and March 31st. Those are the minutes that we are approving tonight as a part of the consent agenda. We should be right there, right?
And also, it also has been emailed as well.
And you have an electronic copy.
That your motion?
That is my motion.
Question.
Moved. Can we get a second?
Second.
Second question.
Number 4, selection of the contractor for the marine lift station. We go for that?
Would you like to remove it from consent agenda to discussion or decision?
Please.
Which
Decision.
to decision?
Yeah, that's fine.
All right, so the approval of the consent agenda with the amendment of item number 4 being moved down to council decisions. Do you have a motion?
So moved.
Second. It's been moved in second. All in favor of amendment, signify with aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Consent agenda has been approved. We are now ready for council decisions. Do we want to start with the lift station or do you want to go ahead with number 5?
Might as well.
Yes,
Let's start with this one.
yeah.
Okay.
Number 4. Mhm.
Did we already discuss that? Was that last week when we had that presentation?
Ms. Lundy, would you join us at the lectern?
I'm sorry, I can't hear you.
Would you join us at the lectern? I'm sure Vice Mayor had a quick question. Wait, too.
So, the selection of the contractor for the marine lift station, was that what we discussed and had that presentation when they were all here?
No, this is the first time that we've had a discussion about Vereen. The Vereen grant is separate, and that was the original grant that I think was done about 4 years ago with Mayor Cole. And that was funding, an appropriation funding coming from the then Congresswoman Val Demings. That's an older grant. EPA is the federal department that was administering it. And so that's an older grant that we're now getting to bring to the bid, and we bid it out. I think we attached all of the solicitation process, and EPA is very particular about the how to follow our bid process. They studied our bids for about 3-4 months to make sure we follow their processes. So that's a separate entity.
Okay. Okay. I'm good. We did move that down to decision. So, do we have any other council comments or questions before Ms. Henry? No. No. We can go ahead and approve the selection of the contractor for the marine lift station. I will entertain a motion.
Second.
It's been moved in second. All in favor of the approval of the contractor, please signify with aye. Aye. All opposed? It is been approved. We are ready for item number 5. It has been mentioned that we have the option to table. Before I ask for the preamble to be read, I will hear from the board. This is regarding the appointment of individuals to the very board that we are in the middle of. Dissolving, correct. So if you want, we can table this item, or we can vote on it. Do I have any opposition?
I think you just pretty much, made a decision and the other, but like, Councilwoman, Jordan said, we definitely need to, reach out to these individuals and see if they want to be involved in some type of board or, maybe, alternative to serve as an alternate, what have you, right? You definitely don't need to guard.
Well, then it would be my recommendation to table this item. Let's table this item. We can, communicate through the clerk's office of other openings, if that's amenable to this board. Or other boards. I know I heard her mention that the Historic Preservation Board has a vacancy, the
One
CRA
alternate.
one alternate
Mhm.
availability. And then we also have another alternate availability on planning and zoning. So we can make that commitment if it is amenable to this board. I will entertain a motion to table item number 5.
So moved, second.
It's been moved in second. All in favor, signify by aye. Aye. All opposed. Motion passes. We are ready for report. Whoever wants to first.
Mayor and council,
Yes, kind of.
yeah.
I too much time.
Upon the recommendation from some of you all that have been calling, having conversations, I have reached out to Dr. Phillips. Right now, they're still in their phase of going through due diligence with Orange County. So there's no new update necessarily from that standpoint during the due diligence phase. They're going through EPA, talking about water and all those different things. I have also talked to them that some of you all would like to meet with them. They are ready to meet individually, and then they will come back and meet collectively after that time frame. So Faith will reach out to you all and we'll coordinate those times when it be applicable for you all towards that. I'll leave a legal update for Attorney Shepherd in reference to the lawsuit that was between the town of Eatonville, CRA, and town. I'll let them deal with that. Do a hack roll. During the CRA as well as on the town side, there has been the conversation has come up about the reconciliation of bank statements and due from and all that. And I will tell you all, 2 weeks ago, it was a 3.5-hour meeting, very productive meeting for 3.5 hours. Of walking through that. We're down to a very reasonable number. There is, and I'll tell you how the process went. So that'll just eliminate the transparency of people speculating. It was the CRA director, myself, both finance people was there. I think the mayor/chair stepped in for a while. Attorney came in for a little bit and left because the meeting was moving that smoothly. As of the end of 2025, it was showing that the town owed the CRA the number that we agreed upon so far with documentation is $16,000. That's not including payroll from this year and some other things. But within the next week, we are to have that solidified, so that conversation will come to a dead stop on both sides. Because it's about communicating and getting through it, so we're working through that. So that's that information for this board to understand that that has taken place, and along with that, talking with the CRA director today with policies and procedures, we're moving more into alignment to making sure what's happening on the town side is happening on the CRA side. So when it comes down to audits and reporting and all that stuff is level. Also, we've all seen what's been going on in the news in reference to purchases, wasteful spending, and all those kind of different things. One of our sister municipalities are going through it tremendously right now. I mean, to the point of people's cell phones, computers, and all that stuff has been seized to be physically audited. So, from my office standpoint, I've taken it upon myself, put another policy in place that all P cards, especially since 1 October, have been audited by me. Anybody missing a receipt, they're gonna know about it. If you violate it, whether it's me, the mayor, council, whoever, it will be out there that we are making sure that we're gonna be fiscally responsible. So just to give everybody a heads up, because we have been getting some public records in, people asking about purchases and all those kind of different things. We're trying to be as transparent as possible to make sure that we're not like other municipalities. With that being said, I will be coming back towards you all. We had an all-staff meeting last Thursday for about 2 hours. It was a great meeting. We started off the meeting for the residents and everybody know. Orange County head of emergency management came in and gave a presentation dealing with hurricanes. Everybody know hurricane season is starting June 1st. You know, they told us their timeline. So normally when they start activating, it's 72 hours, and then they start activating before a hurricane. I told staff our recommendation need to be at least 96 hours. So if they're 72 hours, we're gonna be a day ahead of whatever the county is saying their timeline is. That just keeps us ahead of the game. We do have a seat at the table at emergency management. We are working through making sure all drains, all equipment is up to date. We know we've had times where it's come out where we didn't have sand, we didn't have sandbags and all that. Emergency management has told us that they're going to give us all their resources so we'll know and we'll have it. So we're working through that aspect of it. But during that meeting with staff, we talked about just changing the culture and how we do things. And a part of that is we've all heard it. We've been doing it like this for the last 20 years, the last 30 years. It doesn't mean that it's right. It doesn't mean that it's right because you've been doing it like that for the last 20, 30 years. The internet came 20 some years ago. So if you didn't put that into a factor and we're still operating pre-internet, we got some issues. So with that being said, I will be coming back to this board asking for some funding. We've slowed down spending. Department heads understand, and we're doing feasibility studies right now. We have to look at feasibility studies, processes, and all that because we cannot afford to go through what we've been going through for the last 20 years again. Tara just gave a presentation. Everybody see now how many houses we have that's homestead. I know it done went behind the wayside a little bit, but this property tax thing is serious. If the property taxes go away, what services will be taken away? Right now, our fire bill in Orange County is $900,000 a year. We just made the second payment for the year. $900,000. So already I'm thinking, okay, do we need to look at a public safety kind of fee or something like that to help offset, you know, for the businesses, commercials, and all those different people to help offset that bill. So I will be coming back to you all towards feasibility studies. We're already working on HR. We have some dealing with public works coming through. What's we Yeah, the water sewer. I'm gonna get to that one. Water sewer and all those. Right now, also with that aspect, we're already looking at budgets. Budgets to actual are real. No longer will we bring to you all, we're pledging, we're telling you all, no longer will we bring y'all a budget that's fluff. Those days are over. A fluff budget, slush accounts and all those, staff understands that those days are over. If you come and bring something towards a budget, you better have documentation to back it up. If you don't have documentation to back it up, you might as well just put it, file 13, put it in the garden and we'll water it later. But we're not doing that no more. We have to be sensible to the times we're in and where this community is going. So we're working on budget to actual, let everybody know, we will be starting the budget process come 1 June. It's no secret to department heads. Department heads know come 1 June, we are in budget season of being able to allocate for the next year. That's happening. Public records requests have gotten better. There's still room for improvement. All department heads, including CRA, understand that I said come Monday, I need all public records requests to be up to date. Has to be up to date. If someone is asking for something that's big, you need to at least respond back to them and say, hey, this is gonna take 30 days to get or 45 days, this is the bill. But those things will be taken care of. Mayor and council, this upcoming Friday, May 8th at 9 a.m., there's the Heroes for Homes Day. So a veteran home has been built. Very nice house. I mean, walk-in closet probably half the size of the room almost. I'll walk through it. It's gonna be at 9 a.m. is I think the kickoff for the police escort around town. Like y'all remember Move That Bus? It's that thing. We have state reps, everybody's coming, town councilors and invited, as well as department heads, citizens. It's starting at 9 o'clock, 9:30, but we want to try to have people in place between 9 and 9:30. Something you all been asking for. We finalized the meeting today, and it's been 4 years in the making, I think, since this thing started. Water and sewer impact. Water and sewer impact. Tentatively right now, the next town council meeting, we're gonna have a workshop on the water and sewer impact. I'm aggressive, y'all. That same meeting, that's the workshop. In the town council meeting, I want to do the first reading. And there's a reason behind it. First reading at that same meeting. The second reading, June 2nd. Water and sewer impact, if you all pass it, will be in effect by 8/31/2026. It's aggressive, it's strong, but with all of us, we supposed to have a study this Friday, right? We're supposed to have it this Friday. We're supposed to have the actual study in. And Attorney Shepherd's been a part of it and all that. I'm going to have to push legal, y'all. So I'm gonna have to ask for some extra money from y'all. Y'all have to slap my hand. But the ordinance have to be written up. We'll get with everybody, planning, everybody that's involved. But it's all hands on deck to get this ordinance done. And it has to happen. We got too much ahead of us right now to stall anything. I need for this to be in place no later than August 31st. Mayor and council also May 22nd, 26th, since we arguing during budget time, you all will receive an email with faith on it as well. I need to know what y'all legislative objectives are for the rest of this fiscal year as well as next year. It's no way we can properly plan without having y'all legislative objectives. So whatever is, I'll tell you one. I know Vice Mayor has already told me an ordinance that I'm working on. You want me to say that out loud? Or
You can't.
She has made sure to let me know about a noise ordinance and all that. So, and she told me she don't want no excuse. She want it done. So I'm already, staff is already working on a noise ordinance and all those things. So I need to know what y'all legislative objectives are. That's how we can properly strategically plan for the rest of the year. And that's my report.
Just want to remind everyone that the Bruce and Winnie Mount Scholarship application is open. And the deadline is July 31st. We have $5,000 allocated towards that scholarship. If you know of any youth that live in the town of Eatonville that can benefit, please send them our way. We have applications at the front desk. We really want to be able to put money in their hands so they can be academically successful. Thank you. That's all I have.
Attorney Shepherd, do you have?
Yes, ma'am.
Work tonight.
Just a brief one. It is that,
I did speak with Attorney Fisher. She did not have anything outside of what they had. That's why we yield to Attorney Shepherd.
Attorney Shepherd, can you hear us?
yeah, can you hear me?
It shows he's talking, but I can't hear him. Let me see what's going on here.
Can you hear me or no? Okay. How about now? Can you hear me? 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 Yes or no? Yes, I'm here. I'm talking. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Hello, can you hear me?
I hear you.
You can or you can't?
No, we can. Yeah.
All right. If you can hear me, then I'm going to give my report. So it's brief, and it revolves around the lawsuit that was filed against the town by Tokra. And I am simply reporting to the public who may not know what you all should know, because I sent you all a copy. And that is that the lawsuit was dismissed with prejudice on Monday, and I received my copy. So that ends that lawsuit, and the words "with prejudice" mean that the topics within that lawsuit cannot be brought back by the CRA against the town. It does not mean that other lawsuits by other individuals could not be brought against the town. So in case there's any confusion about that, I just wanted to be clear on it. But that's where that stands, and I have nothing further to report.
Thank you, Attorney Shepherd. Councilman
Yeah, thanks everybody for coming out this evening, being involved in town business. Thank God we don't have a long meeting tonight. Right off the top, I just want to give my condolences to anybody that have suffered any loss. Particularly my family. I lost my uncle 2 weeks ago. We'll be burying him on this Saturday. So my hearts and prayers go out to my mother, losing her last brother. And also thanks to all the presentations tonight with Tara and Health Foundation, Winter Park Health Foundation, on the presentation that you guys gave tonight. Thank you so much for that. And also this is to the CEO, you don't have to answer them all at once right now. Just kind of follow if you can. Host that one, kind of trying to understand when we're gonna be, when is their anticipation on finishing their project in terms of construction, as well as you've already spoke about the water and sewer impact fee, which I'm very ecstatic about when you're moving that needle, and make sure that we're going down the direction of getting that done also. And then you already spoke about the Huntington property. DOJ community building down in Catalina Park, when we be actually finishing with that, and as well as the widening of Kennedy Boulevard, on top of the infrastructure that's going to possibly be taking place with Winter Park coming through our community. So you kind of like give me some answers to those questions I had. That'd be great. And also this past weekend, like every first Saturday, I had the opportunity to go out and participate in bike riding. And if anybody have never done it, I encourage you to do it next month. Because of the perspective of just being healthy also. And it's put on by your understanders who's here at every meeting. I appreciate your leadership and everything that you guys do in our community. I encourage anybody that want to be involved to bring water, fruit, or whatever. That's all you got to pretty much bring. And there are bicycles available for anybody, you know, it's kid friendly also. So bring your family out, you know what I'm saying, just take a ride every first Saturday of each month. Um, Also, my question was gonna be, prior to us speaking about it, do we have any boards that are available in terms of, you know, that people can get involved with, that wanna get involved with, being on the board? And also whatever, job opportunity that we have available also, that would be something that I would definitely, won't answer as well, but we can make sure we're sharing that information with the citizens or anybody else that want to seek job opportunity here at the town of Eatonville. I had heard a concern citizen get to the podium this evening and made a statement in terms of not having enough time to speak. If anybody knows anything about government, that's how it works all over this nation that we live in. And to be honest with you, we're at leisure of doing how we want to do, but typically it's best practice at about 3 minutes. Some municipalities do 2 minutes. You know, I'm just, you know, just being honest about that. And then if you do have any suggestions in terms of any other questions or concerns you have, you can also email each one of us up here, reach out to the CAO, or even call us. You know, we're more willing to sit down and have a conversation with you if you feel like your time is not lengthy enough up at the stadium, I mean at the podium. Um, Also, I want to make sure I'm not forgetting anything. Also, yeah, I have an opportunity to sit on this board just as well as the CAO. I think it's a tremendous board in Orange County because of what it stands for, you know, the poverty and everything that you know, come along with just being able to have the opportunity to sit on that board and learn so much from a poverty perspective, especially not saying that we're in poverty over here, but it kind of give you an indication of what you can do in terms of, you know, moving the needle to make sure that you're helping people. And the status over there is helping people and changing lives. And that's the community action board. So I would recommend someone up here, maybe someone, you know, that wants to participate in it. And of course, you have to go through the procurement of, you know, being qualified to sit on that board as well. But I definitely would like to make a recommendation that someone up here besides myself get an opportunity to go and sit on that board. So we can look into that. That'd be great. And also, yeah, I know you spoke about the budget as well. That was something that I was gonna speak on. I'm glad you made an indication we're gonna start June 1st, which is gonna be important. I know we got a lot of things coming down the pipeline that we're gonna be dealing with in terms of the physical budget for the year. And I would, you know, say this, and like I said, I'm not biased. I love everybody. And I know I've had some issues with the former, well, still probably present, legal counsel, which is Attorney Shipper. I will have to say this on record, that I commend your leadership at this point, because you could have easily walked away and not cared about anything that's going on in the town. So you're showing me a different perspective on what your leadership stands for. And like I said before, you know, these are the things that's important to me. If you're showing me that you have that desire to help my community, I'm all in. But if I see a different avenue of things that don't set that that attitude with me, I would go a different course. But I do appreciate you sitting in tonight. You know, with just showing the leadership that we need in this community. And of course, you could have easily walked away. So with that being said, thank you for being here tonight. And if all minds and hearts are clear, that's going to be what.
Man, real quick, so everybody, I'll make sure that was my fault, Councilman. I should have reported. DOJ, it should be scheduled within the next 2 weeks. We're waiting on the fire department to finalize an inspection, so that will be done. Holstein, I have been in conversation with Holstein. I've had conversation. So to let you all know, they said that they will be ready to open come June 1st. They are getting ready to turn on chillers and other things come June 1st. But we decided, you know, because we have to go through some inspections, Ms. Monday has some questions about water and all those different things. We're actually shooting for July 1st. I told him if you get it done June 1st, great. But the identified date right now is July 1st. Just to let everybody know.
Thank you, to the, public and the community for coming out and engaging, in our town business. I always appreciate that. Thanks for the presentations as well. I do have a question. I know in our last meeting, we were discussing, legal and appointments. Where are we in that process in terms of, RFP?
So RP is all ready to go. Thank you to Attorney Shepherd, who has really stepped in with two items. The RFP for the magistrate for code enforcement. You know, he has that, he's given us that template, so all that stuff is ready to be going to push forward. And as well as he's given us the template of what other municipalities has been asking for legal. So that process has made it a lot easier, so we didn't have to go and recreate the wheel.
Okay.
It was given to us and we just had to fine tune it. We had to put icing on it. I said it that way, council on it. So we are in the process of moving along, and thank you all for being considerate of allowing Attorney Shepherd to stay on with this transition, because we have a lot of things in the woodwork, and if we would just went cold turkey, it'd have been critical for the town. So with him being along, he has been, as we need stuff and all that, you know, with Attorney Fisher not being here tonight, called him, no problem, he jumped on, and we've been working it.
All right, and thank you, Attorney Shepherd, for all you've done and for all you continue to do. I really do appreciate it. That's big, that's huge. And also, what the hell, legal and, the budget. I know you talked about you guys are working together, and that is very commendable. That we're able to do that, and looking forward to everything continuing to getting everything in alignment. But when will we hear about, the budget in terms of what you guys are working on, and will it be presented to us, a presentation so that we can actually see where we are in terms?
So to be honest with you, Councilwoman, we're looking at starting 1 June, but it's already started. By the end of September, the second council meeting in September, we're supposed to have budgets approved and all that.
Okay,
I'm gonna be honest.
please do that.
I really want us to be done by the beginning of September. And I think the mayor and I have talked about it. We talked about the beginning of September. We should go through we should not be trying to cram all these things into budget workshops. I've been studying other municipalities and all that. Compared, and no shade to our finance department. You know, I've been talking to Ms. Gibson as long as I talk to staff today, that our budget your budget should be able to tell a story, not just with numbers, but you should have feasibility studies and everything to go along with it. So when you have that person come in and want to question something, you have documentation to go along with it. So I know we've been giving y'all spreadsheets and all that, but it has to have more oomph to it, and it has to make sense. I've also, you know, unless you all override, I've said that we're not doing across the board raises, because why are we rewarding people for doing substandard work?
I agree.
Why are we rewarding people for doing substandard work? So if you're not doing the work, you may be able to get a cost of living, but you should be getting those 5% and 7% if you're not, you know, going the extra mile. No other place in corporate America they do that. So why should we do it? Why should we want substandard workmanship and all those things? And that's one of the big things that we talked about last week was follow through, accountability, all this. I'm not doing this, not that. Insubordination, and the mayor came right behind me. The insubordination saying what you're not gonna do. Well, maybe you don't ride this train. Maybe you're gonna be on the side at the bus stop watching the train go by. That's how we're approaching it right now. So we're trying to change mindset, culture, and all those things. And I know some of it's been embedded, but we can do it.
And I commend all of the hard work, and I see it, and even it feels better this evening. So our conversations are flowing in a more respectful manner. But I think because we're cleaning the house up, y'all. And like I've asked, the public to just, continue to work with us. I have faith in what we're doing here, in the direction that we're gonna go. And what we're looking for is just more transparency. Okay, and so for that, again, for real, like I commend everybody and what you're doing in the direction of this board, and good job, Mayor Critton and CAO, and just like pushing us forward. And that's some stuff that I did have down, and Hungerford property, I'm not gonna beat it up. But again, I thank you for a little bit of that information, but like I said, the board was formed. I'm still a little fuzzy on, how did we come about those things, but I guess, like you said, I have the opportunity to speak with those people, on my own, which I will do that.
And I'll tell you something,
I don't like being disrespected, period,
and
period. I don't care who it is.
And I'll tell you that people are watching us. They're watching us. I had a meeting Thursday or Friday with someone that came in. We had a lunch meeting. It's some people that want to come alongside the town. They want to talk with Dr. Phillips, and they told me I can publicly say it. I just can't say who it is right now. But they're offering almost $200 million to help us develop that property as well as the rest of Eatonville. But y'all, that's why I'm so stern right now that we got to get our house in order. We got to sweep on our own porch first. So we got to get outside of ourselves and get outside of feelings and all those things. And we got to get to work with business to make it happen. So the people that want to come in, they want to come in. And be honest, they want to come in and do the museum aspect. And that's why I'm gonna have to set up time with you all, because I can kind of tell you what I told them, like, hey, come in. Not only do I want you to build a museum, I want you to build an event center next to it and put town hall on top of the museum. They was like, that's what you want? I said, yeah. Upgrade us.
Okay.
Upgrade us. But we gotta this board, along with administration, got to be creatively thinking, being outside the box, and willing to work together to make it happen.
Okay.
Vice Mayor, you listening?
I just don't want us to lose sight, and I know that we've had a lot of things that have come before us, but I don't want us to lose sight of that property that's across the street. You understand me? Let's not forget, about that, and that's my report. Thank you.
That's no. Wow. I was gonna say a lot, but I hope we get out here by 9 o'clock. One thing is, don't forget the retreat. We still need that.
Yes, ma'am.
With my background in the mortgage industry, stuff like that, I do plan on doing credit repair classes, finance, different things like that. That's half of it. I don't even want to talk about that. And then I also want to do some ethic and behavior classes for the kids with different group sororities. Because my philosophy towards a child is there's never a bad child in the world. If you show them love, you can always change the child. So those are some of the things I'm going to do, and I'm going to stop talking. I hope for this 3 you only talk for. Ain't ready.
It's hard for me to speak. I don't know how to get it. Felt compelled to, take time. So, hey, it is what it is.
Got Reverend Cream in the building. I might have to be before you long tonight.
Welcome back and give these 3.
No, I can't go to Bethel or Bethel without getting called out. So welcome back, Reverend Cream. So I won't belabor us, but thank you to Winter Park Health Foundation and Grace Medical. I would be remiss if I did not say that relationships matter. We know that we are working with limited resources in the town of Eatonville, and so we have to be creative on how we accomplish things. And people like Winter Park Health Foundation have been partners, advocates, and resources for a really long time. And so I'm grateful to have them by our side right now and moving forward. Speaking of, Grace Medical was out at Macedonia today. I know you saw the health bus out in the parking lot if you drove down Kennedy. They will be back tomorrow. What did I do with my flyer? Okay, they will be back tomorrow at Macedonia doing health screenings. You just need to bring your proof of residency. And then additional comprehensive services will be offered as well. It'll be from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. at Macedonia. And then they will have fresh produce from Ebony Nutrition. They were giving out bags of fresh produce today. It's always a pleasure to see them out there. I know usually they're out there around the same time as the soup kitchen is happening. So you get a 2-for-1, you come get a hot meal from his company, and then you come outside and get a fresh bag of produce. It's a win-win. Let's spread the word if our residents don't know about it. Life Cycle Club, we love y'all. We really do. Listen, I had a mayoral appointment. I had a 9 o'clock meeting that morning. I was gonna try to, and then the 8:30 window was like, you gonna go to them people meeting in your biking shorts? So I'm sorry that I did not make it, but kudos to y'all. Please keep up the great work. Quality of life is essential for way of life, especially in a community like ours. Don't forget, and I will try to remind us every time we get together, the Impact Ride is coming up May 30th. It will be from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. And it is a collaboration of their cycling friends, some of which I know from Edgewater High School. And so I'm excited to see what that looks like. Are vendors still welcome?
Yes.
Vendors are still welcome. We will make sure to share that information on social media, so y'all be on the lookout. Tell your friends. Vice Mayor, after you look at
I
it.
do have one more comment, and this for the cycle club. So after the bike ride and everything, so my family, we decided to go skating, and they attended with us, and we see that may be something good for the youth in the afternoon to go skating. And we went to Cimarron, we had a good time.
Yeah, absolutely. We are super appreciative of the versatility that you bring to recreation in the town of Eatonville. So please keep up the good work. Some things that are coming up for us to be on the lookout for. Juneteenth is coming up in about just under 2 months. Let's be on the lookout for that. They are also still welcoming vendors. Be sure to check out the social medias for those. We'll be sure to have some flyers in the lobby. CAO, stakeholder meetings. I know it's been a while since we've had one. Now that we are kind of mellowing out into this new administration, if we can look at or talk about getting those back up and running, it's like I said, we want to make sure that the residents are informed. So we can talk about the updates in some of these projects. We can talk about the open board positions that are available. We can talk about some of the jobs that are available in the town of Eatonville. Just to kind of keep people on the up and up. Those will be pertinent to civic engagement in the town. Again, condolences to people in the community that have lost loved ones. We just buried, I know Councilman Mack, y'all took a loss about 2 weeks ago. We took one as well this past weekend and buried Ms. Alexander. And so condolences to those of us dealing with grief right now. Thank you to Attorney Shepherd and to staff for working on that RFP. I know we have talked about the transition for general counsel for some time, and I think going ahead and getting that RFP out expeditiously just puts us in a more proactive position to go ahead and have those candidates lined up. Let's go ahead and take a look at it. Let's be intentional with our choice. Make sure that we get somebody that we feel good about, that fits well with us to continue to push us forward. I did hear you say the magistrate position is all set. I'm glad to hear that. That was one of my questions as well. So thank you, Attorney Shepherd, for that. You use the term critical, CAO Daniels, to having that legal counsel on board. And I want to take it a step further. Without legal counsel for the town, we are crippled. It is more than critical. And so again, my ask to be intentional and my ask to be collaborative in this process is for the betterment of the town of Eatonville. We are responsible for a few things up here, and making sure that this town is covered is one of them. So again, thank you, Attorney Shepherd, for holding my hand for the last 6 weeks. I don't know if anybody, maybe Joyce might have been the only person more sad to see the shift in that coverage. She might have been the only one more upset than me. You have been extremely helpful in inaugurating me into this role. And so I cannot say thank you enough for your level of expertise, for your professionalism, for your availability. I am appreciative. Thank you. Yes.
Thank you, Mayor.
He's trying to speak also.
Can I say before you leave tonight, there's one more thing I realized I need to get to you for information. So I don't want to take the floor from you, but just make sure you call me before you're done.
Oh, absolutely. Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Ms. King. Do not forget the Bruce and Winnie Mount Scholarship is available to apply for. Send those kids over. I mean, I was a recipient of the Hungerford Scholarship, and that first semester at A&M, it paid for all of my books. And those things make a difference. And you're talking about a number of years later, school only costs more. So y'all send the babies down to apply for the scholarship. That was something that the Mount family was adamant about. And we know how much the Mount family means to the town of Eatonville. Let's spread the word, spread the word, spread the word. Boys and Girls Club just recently kicked off a business. Our kids down at the Boys and Girls Club are entrepreneurs. They have a t-shirt company at the Boys and Girls Club. They print t-shirts. They make it a little coin, y'all. That is amazing. They had some amazing sponsors and partners to come in and help with equipment, and they got a state-of-the-art facility down there. I mean, I think it's a no-brainer that all of our t-shirt orders will now come through the Boys and Girls Club. Y'all go check them out. It's BGCTs down at the Joe R. Lee location in Eatonville. Shout out to them. The budget. The reason that I want to be intentional about the budget is because when the audit comes back, we get some of the same findings. Like you said, Mr. Daniels, no more. The late turn in, we're not doing that no more. So it's better to be proactive than to be reactive. We just gonna start a few minutes earlier. Mom math says if you have to be there at 7:30, you gotta leave home at 6:45, then you work your way backwards. So we're gonna be proactive. Thank you for that. Additionally, the address to the staff was about professionalism. When we walk into town hall and when we go throughout the town of Eatonville, it needs to look like a municipality. And that is everything from this dais to the employees. The way we interact with one another should be professional. And so the standard has been set. And in order to be fair, no one is exempt, myself included. And so when it comes time to go raise, I mean, substandard work is one thing, but lack of professionalism will keep coin out of your pocket. So let's encourage professionalism. 2 more and I'm out your way. 3 more, I lied. Okay, so Dr. Phillips, it has been said on a number of occasions, that this is it. And I'm hearing that in the community. So I'm here to express both this diet and to the community. The conversations are just getting started. The master plan was one step, the action planning and all of that was another step. This conversation is not over. And from my experience, they're ready to take it on the chin, so take it to them. All the questions that you have, all the concerns that you have, all the beef that you have, take it to them. I mean, if we're gonna do anything, we're gonna make them stand on their word. Councilman Mack always say, we're gonna hold your feet to the fire, but you can't hold them if you're not there to grab their feet. We have to come. It is absolutely imperative that we are there to voice our opinions. I told someone we're not a neighborhood, we're a municipality. We have rights, we have responsibilities, we have privileges. Come to the table. You gonna say?
Is it something set up again on this?
No, I do know that they are scheduling to come meet with us. I was told that a presentation was coming down the pipeline. I believe they're waiting to do some additional due diligence before they come to make sure that when they approach us as a collective body, that their presentation is ready and complete. But I was told that they will be reaching out to us individually to hear what it is that we have to say. So I'm on the lookout for that as much as the rest of you. The Eatonville Supreme seniors just They're back now, right?
No.
They're not back yet?
All right.
Well, they still running the streets. Okay, so y'all keep our seniors in prayer. They are out having the best time of their lives. And so please pray for traveling graces and mercies while they are out and about for a safe return back to Eatonville. And then last but not least, today is May 5th. And for those of you who don't know, it is former Mayor Eddie Cole's birthday. And so happy heavenly birthday to somebody who politically and personally meant a great deal to me. I would not be sitting in this seat. I might have lost if he had run. I would not be sitting in this seat I wouldn't even have sat in the audience if it wasn't for Mayor Cole. So since he is not here with us today, I want to extend a happy heavenly birthday to former Mayor Cole, and that is my report. Attorney Shepherd, did you want to add something
Yes,
to the
ma'am.
record? Okay,
Yeah,
please do.
I sorry I didn't think of it earlier, but I should have. In the good news, it becomes effective January 1, 2027. The bad news, it has the impact of potentially changing a lot of things in the way the town works regarding some very important events to it, and you'll understand it when I talk about it. As you know, putting it mildly, the current administration in the governor's mansion has not been friendly to DEI. Specifically, it has done everything in its power to exact like DEI should not exist in any sphere of influence over government life or even the lives of private companies. However, they've gone even a further step, and that's the law that goes into effect on January 1 of 2027. It's called SB or Senate Bill 1134. It regulates and largely prohibits DEI, and I know you all understand that's diversity, equity, and inclusion activity by local governments, counties, and municipalities. But its provisions are such that I suspect it'll get challenged on constitutional grounds. I do not know with the current makeup of the Supreme Court that those challenges will be successful, as I think 5 or 6 of the 7 appointees were all appointed by this current administration. But here's what it does that you need to be aware of when they're talking about things like upcoming, not this one, but certainly next year, Zora Neale Hurston, Juneteenth, MLK Day, Founders, any of those celebrations, because what it prohibits is the funding, promotion, or taking any official action related to the DEI. And this includes ordinances, resolutions, rules, or policies, programs, or initiatives, official endorsements of DEI concepts, which, by the way, I have no idea what that would be, except treat people fairly. Apparently that's illegal these days. It bans offices, DEI offices and spending. You cannot have DEI positions. No public funds from any source can be used for DEI programs or training, contractors promoting DEI relating activities or messaging. This comes to mind. Someone mentioned, I can't remember who, but someone mentioned job training. I assume that means specifically, and maybe I'm wrong here, minority job training. Well, using government funds, at least under this law, arguably would not allow that to occur. The restriction extend to third parties. So to the extent there are festivals like Zora Neale Festival that we might want to spend grant monies on and so forth, if they can find that those promote, I don't know, DEI concepts, whatever that means, then it's a potential violation. And there's not just a violation. Here's what it is could result in for the elected officials, which is why I felt it necessary, since who knows when the next time I'll actually speak to your meeting. Violations by local officials constitute or can constitute misfeasance or malfeasance of office. The significance of those two terms is those are 2 of the 7 terms under Florida law that you can be removed from office by recall and or the governor. They include civil enforcement mechanisms, meaning lawsuits brought by private individuals. Let's say your favorite white supremacist group, as an example, and they would be able to get attorney's fees if they're successful. So this is not a law to be trifled with. It is a law which is absolutely an abomination to me, but that's my personal political opinion. It may not be shared by everybody in the room, but I thought you ought to know about it.
Thank you. That was Andy. Okay. We are ready for adjournment. Oh, second. It's been moved and second. All in favor of adjourning, we say aye. It is 9:08. We are adjourned.
Yeah, appreciate
Just gotta use the vernacular create. That's what it is.
Man, we ain't get out of here.
Okay, so. So you drink on it,
You ain't gonna do nothing. No, anytime. Yes, ma'am. How you doing?
But you still have to work, buddy, so you can change like. Very excited to eat. So when I go, I move it.
Yes, sir.